there is an invisible and mysterious line between these two islands of Indonesia, which no fish, bird, nor animal can ever cross. This line starts between Bali and Lombok Islands and goes to the end of the Mal Islands. Actually, this line does not appear in any radar or sonar, but on the western side of this line, there are animals, birds, and fish. He is totally different from the animals on the eastern side, although there is only a distance of 35 kilometers between these two islands. But if you go from Bali to Lombok, the entire environment changes. The birds and animals on the island do not cross this line to go to Lombok. And the animals and birds from Lombok do not come here. And not just that, but also the fish in the sea below. If it doesn't cross this line, then these two islands, just like two totally different worlds, divided by a mysterious power, there is an invisible line between these islands that only humans cannot cross. This line is called the Wallace Line, and it was discovered about 150 years ago by a British explorer named Alfred Russel Wallace. Those who studied biology will know Russel Wallace for natural selection. Alfred Russel has a fascinating and inspiring story. He was born into a financially struggling household in England in the year 1823. Wallace's father, who worked as a cartographer, was responsible for creating maps. This profession allowed him to travel to diverse locations, which likely influenced young Alfred's perspective on the world and its many wonders. And this pivotal decision of his life was one day destined to make him famous and well-known all over the world. Traveling to different places with his father had greatly increased Wallace's interest in geography and wildlife. He brings some trees, plants, and insects from every new place he visits. In this passion, in 1854, Wallace embarked on a journey to the Mola Islands with a few companions. He first came to Singapore, then from here he went to Indonesia and explored well. Finally, he arrived here at Bali Island. Wallace loved Bali and its wildlife. He started examining the animals and plants in detail. He saw many tigers, rhinos, elephants, and many birds like woodpeckers and parrots. I kept noting it in my diary. He took his board and went 35 kilometers away. Went to Lombok Islands. But upon arriving here, he absolutely amazed. There were different animals and birds here. Here is the Komodo dragon, kangaroos, koala, and there were many animals and birds that Singapore, Indonesia, or I wasn't in beautiful Bali. They were very surprised why that is. During this time, Velas got malaria, and he was in a room on this island, had to fight. But this illness, I see it as this invisible lion, got time to think about it. And then a powerful thing in his mind, click on the Bali Islands. But all those animals are found in Asia, such as tiger and elephant, etc., while all such animals on Lombok Islands. There are birds found in Australia, like kangaroos, koalas, and monitor lizard. Wallace then proposed the theory here that several million years ago, Asia and Australia will be connected with each other. But over time, as the ice melted and the ocean water rose, it was impossible to go the other way, so one mystery was solved. And such islands were formed. The animals that were on the western side remained in Bali and other parts of Asia. Those on the eastern side stayed in Lombok and Australia due to the ocean in between. Bosalabi says animals like tigers, elephants, and kangaroos prepared to cross the ocean. It was impossible to go the other way, so one mystery was solved. The second mystery was why the birds do not cross this line. Why isn't any bird coming from Lombok to Bali and from Bali to Lombok when whales? Upon further examination of the birds found on Bali and Long Island, he found the answer to this question. Basically, these two islands are home to non-migratory birds. There are actually two types of birds. There are migratory birds that travel thousands of kilometers, like the Arctic tern, which travels about 90,000 kilometers every year from the South Pole to the North Pole. Similarly, there are Siberian cranes that travel 5,000 to 10,000 kilometers from Russia to China, India, and Pakistan during the winter. These remarkable birds possess uniquely designed wings that enable them to soar effortlessly for extended durations over the vast ocean. They elegantly spread their wings like an airplane, allowing them to glide for an impressive distance of 10,000 kilometers without needing to flap frequently. However, here in the East, It means they usually stay flying within a range of 1 to 2 kilometers from where they are born. That's why it's impossible for these birds to cross this 35-kilometer sea. So it is clear why animals and birds do not cross this line. Now what's left are fish or other marine animals. Why is it difficult for fish to cross this line? Wallace also couldn't understand this because the concept of plate tectonics had not been discovered at that time. In today's modern times, we all know that our planet is not static but dynamic. The concept of plate tectonics had not been discovered. In ancient times, there was only one massive continent in our world, known as Pangaea. Then, due to the movement of tectonic plates, over the next several million years, this entire continent began to break apart and divide into different continents. About 45 million years ago, what we now call the Indian subcontinent was part of Australia. Due to tectonic plates, it broke off and moved up to join the Eurasian plates. The plates shifted and folded, creating the world's largest mountain range, which we now call the Himalayas. The joining points of the plates are very volatile, and most earthquakes originate from here. Therefore, most earthquakes in South Asia arise from the Himalayas. The entire area of Singapore and Indonesia also experienced a major tectonic shift, due to which there are many volcanic eruptions here. The water current in these island beaches, which are part of the ocean, is so strong that it's very difficult for any fish to cross. Therefore, despite being only 35 kilometers away, these Komodo dragons cannot reach the Bali Islands, nor can any fish come to this island from there. So these tectonic plate shifts are the main reason for this invisible line. The conclusion drawn 1.5 years ago was completely correct, even though it came after many years. There are many other interesting and mysterious places in our world that we will explore in upcoming videos. If you enjoy our videos, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video with another interesting topic. Take care. Allah Hafiz.